And we are live. Hi, guys, and welcome to the seventh session, live session with Mumina. And today's discussion, you're going to talk about a very, is it delicate? I think it's important. It's not just delicate, a very
Important, yeah.
important and a very delicate topic that is basically postpartum nutrition. That transition from pregnancy to breastfeeding and how we can support mothers. So, with me today, I have an amazing guest. She's also my good friend. She's called Grace. She's a dietitian and she's a women and health expert. And she's also a mother and she can tell us what she's bringing to the table today. Grace, karibu sana. Kindly introduce yourself, then we can start.
Yeah, so welcome everybody. My name is Grace Micere, as she has shared. I'm a nutritionist, especially for my passion in women health. And I'm going to be shedding some light from my own experience and from expertise on maternal nutrition, like after giving birth, that is postpartum nutrition, how important it is and how we can navigate from pregnancy to breastfeeding and making sure that the whole process is seamless, because it can be, and just sharing insights on how we can make it seamless and how you can make it work as a mother that you have given birth. You don't have It doesn't have to be a time of agony. It can be a very good transition, and you're gonna be sharing one or two, not too long, but I'm sure that you'll be able to get something from it. Yeah.
Maybe to add, in
Yeah.
Africa and in Kenya generally, we have normalized suffering for women. So everyone is expected to really suffer after childbirth because we prepare heavily for pregnancy, we prepare heavily for childbirth, but the transition itself and how that affects the woman, people actually just neglect it. Like, even if you ask mothers if they actually went to a nutritionist or to someone who actually now prepare them physically, nutritionally, nutrients wise, for breastfeeding, for transition, for healing, most of them will tell you they just Googled. So I think we have normalized suffering, and that is a bad thing, Grace. What do you think about that? Because
Mhm.
me, I think we have. I honestly believe we have. Because most women are not taught how to
Yeah.
prepare, how to love themselves after childbirth, because it's a difficult process.
It's a very difficult process, by the way. It's because now you have a newborn, and that newborn heavily depends on you. Actually, 100% depends on you for their well-being. So we prioritize the baby's wellness first before us, because that is what we think, that the child is more fragile comparing to us. But from experience, and what is actually important is that when you, as the mother, you are okay, you will definitely be able to handle or give the best care to this child. So it's important that also we look at making things easy for the mother, so that she can make things easy or better for the baby. Yeah, like after childbirth, there's a lot that is happening. You have just given birth, so your tissues were like, you bled, and then also you need some healing to do. There's some healing to do, and it can be painful whether you gave birth naturally or through cesarean section. It is also very painful, and so you need to really take care of yourself, get support system, because sometimes once women give birth, ni siku tu ya kwanza people that they visit, and then after that you are left, you and your baby, and maybe with your partner at least. So things become very hard, but it's important that you have that support system, at least to make sure that you are okay, so that the well-being of your child can also be okay. Yeah, but what you have said is that most people they say pregnancy is so delicate, of which we understand. But also the postpartum also is very important, because now you have a live baby and yourself to take care of. Yeah.
maybe to deviate from the professional angle kidogo, kindly can you share your personal experience? I will also share mine, but can you share your personal experience on the transition? Because you see, most people think that now professionals are just telling them things that are not supposed to be. Because I have encountered mothers where I've been telling them, now you need to now gear up on taking care of yourself. So can you share some professional, or you can mix both professional and personal experience on transitioning from that phase before we really dig deep? And remember, if you have a question for our speaker, if you have a comment about the fourth trimester and some of the changes that you underwent, some of the challenges that you actually faced, please make sure that you leave it in the comment section. We'll definitely be addressing that. And feel free to share this with your mother, with a friend, with an expectant girlie, or with someone who you know is interested in motherhood or even maternal and child nutrition. So Grace, kindly take us through some
Yeah,
of your personal experience, Mama.
I can say I've had an interesting transition with challenges, definitely, but at least what I can brag and say is that I had a good support system. You know, it's even if it is your sisters or a friend, it's always good to have them around beside your partner, like making sure that they can handle things at all angles. Like for me, as you have asked, I've gone through cesarean section, and after childbirth, it was very painful. Like you can barely move, the pain is a lot, and the baby is on the other side, is crying. The baby, you're trying to like introduce this baby to breastfeeding, which is very important that the baby breastfeeds from the go. So you find that you are aching, your breasts are aching, you know, your stomach is aching, you are bleeding. It becomes so overwhelming. You know, you're supposed to eat, you know. At that time, for me, I was not even feeling like appetite, but I just had to force myself to like eat things that are nutritious, to take a lot of fluids, and just to take the doctor's advice, like especially after cesarean section. It's very important that you don't yield to the pain, because the pain is there after maybe like after 8 hours post the surgery. You feel a lot of pain. Not even 8 hours, like after the drug, the anesthesia wears off, you like now feel that pain of the, you know, of the whole surgery. So, and you cannot move as much as you can, but the doctors or the other practitioners, they're like telling us to like move, make sure that you hydrate, make sure that it's also the time that we are introducing breastfeeding. So it becomes very overwhelming. So for me, it was overwhelming at that the first few days, but with time, I was able to like navigate through the process, because once you can be able to move, you know, and the pain subsides, then you can be able to take care of the baby. I also have gone through preeclampsia, you know, even as a nutritionist, sometimes you cannot evade these things, you know. You don't choose. You can be very healthy, but preeclampsia also, you get preeclampsia. That is what happened for my case. And so there you are navigating with childbirth, cesarean section, breastfeeding, and also like managing your blood pressure. And so it becomes very overwhelming, as I've said, but you just have to take at a time. If it is taking the medication, you have to take the medication for the cesarean section, for the pressure. At the same time, you need to be breastfeeding on demand. So it was hard, definitely, but I had people, you know, I had people that I could give the baby, that they could watch the baby as I maybe sleep, or I just rest, because after childbirth, rest is very important, you know. Huwezi kuwa tu hapo like you are awake. Also, there's also the issue of the back. I also had the issue of the back. When you like sit up so much, you feel your back is aching and all that. But with time, you know, you just give yourself grace, and you are able to navigate. And the goal is to make sure that the baby breastfeeds as he or she is supposed, and then you take as much rest as possible, and then also like keep your nutrition well, hydrate and all that, and it becomes easier with time. And that preeclampsia was able to manage before 6 weeks postpartum, which is something that I was really grateful that it did not progress, because now when it progresses, it now becomes hypertension, and that's a different and a very hard time that it could get complicated, but at least it didn't get to that. Yeah.
Wow, that is a very intense experience. It's intense. I can only
Yeah.
imagine. And it's quite funny that people do not expect professionals to go through that. They forget that at the end of the day, in as much as we are professionals, we are humans, and the human body and physiology, only God can truly clearly explain how it works. Because yes, we try our best, we do our best, but sometimes you actually now still see the struggles. Like for instance, I know you have gone through both normal vaginal delivery, even the section is normal, and the C-section delivery. And I think on my end, I'm yet to experience the C-section, and I'm praying to God that things go well. But if they don't, well, we know what will happen. But I can say for a fact that that period after delivery, your body is the weakest as a woman. I think, I don't know, a woman is most, there's this meme that they used to say that a woman is most vulnerable only on two occasions. Immediately she gives birth and when her nails are drying up. Like those, even the comparison of those two scenarios don't make sense. But I was like, people do not understand, because immediately you give birth, you're vulnerable, your body is the weakest, your nutrient losses, you have gone through a lot, you have lost blood. Remember, you were carrying a pregnancy, now you're expelling it, your body is, you've created a wound. If you've gone through C-section, whether you've gone through vaginal delivery, you might have gotten some episiotomies, you have wounds you need to heal, there's water retention, you need to now start balancing your organs, your function again. There's the aspect of, you can get dehydrated, you can get kidney failure after delivery, you can get so many things. Like, and these are the things that most people do not really focus on when you think about pregnancy. Because when you see someone says, or they focus on the aspect intro to a talk, they don't
Yeah.
focus on akishatoka, what next for the woman, how is the body
Yeah.
going to effectively transition to that. And I like the fact that you have emphasized on the importance of support and proper nutrition, because those are the key two things that will actually help you overcome the struggles, and medication if you need to take them.
Yeah.
After giving birth, again, as I've said, whether it's vaginal or C-section, you might be given medication to manage certain condition. You might be given supplements, you might be recommended for supplements, because for fact, when you're giving birth, there are so many changes that happen. You have gone through blood losses, you have gone through issues with your bones. Unajua watu wanasemanga mimbo bebewa kwa mgongo. You have gone through issues with your tendons, like you have lost elasticity and all that. You have lost, that's why people have been told to drink soup. So Grace, maybe we can talk about how nutrition during pregnancy actually influences childbirth and postpartum recovery, how you're taking care of yourself. Because you see, the stores that you have when you're pregnant are the stores that's why we are encouraged as mothers or as women, when you are pregnant, to not over diet and to make sure that our nutrition is good, so that we can have enough stores for all that. So let's talk about how nutrition during pregnancy influences childbirth.
Yeah, it's very
Postpartum
important
recovery. Yeah. Yeah.
to have, like, during pregnancy is when you are storing like what is known as maternal nutrient stores. So they are used when the baby is developing in your womb, and they're also used afterwards. So you need to really take care of your nutrition, like from the beginning of your pregnancy up to the end, because you will use these stores after giving birth as well. So it's important that you have, like, you know, balanced diet, as I can say, throughout your journey. Make sure that you're taking your supplements. The prenatal supplements, they will really come in handy. Of course, you will give birth to a healthy baby, and that is important. You'll have a positive, like a good outcome, pregnancy outcome, that is giving birth to good weight baby and a baby that is healthy. But now you also need to make sure that the nutrition of the baby continues. And because the baby is only breastfeeding, there's no other food that is recommended. So either you're breastfeeding exclusively, you need to make sure that you are also eating very well. So pregnancy, yeah, as you have mentioned, you need to like prepare for it. You need to eat well, because those stores are going to be used even during breastfeeding, because when you don't, you will have signs when you do not have enough maternal stores. First thing happens that most women, when they give birth and they are exclusively breastfeeding, you will find that sometimes you can lose weight even unintentionally, especially places that you don't want. Like for me, it happened that I lost a lot of, let's say I lost weight, yes, like on my bums, on my thighs, and I could think I could relate it that it is fat and stores that are being used to feed the baby through breast milk. And so that's why you need to like up your game, because you also don't want unintentional weight loss, and also you don't want to make your baby deficient. I don't know if I'm making sense. So
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
yes, so some of those things do happen. So the key thing for me, I made sure that I was taking the prenatal supplements, and I was eating okay, because of course during pregnancy sometimes mtu anakuanga na a lot of cravings. Sometimes you just want the pizzas, you want those KFC or Galitos, chicken things, of which you can yield into such kind of cravings once, but at the back of your mind, you really need to build up these stores. You need to build up stores such as iron. The baby requires good amount of iron, and you need to take iron-rich foods. So either the greens, and not just the greens peke yake, also you need to take the lean meats, the chicken, protein that come from the animal, that is from chicken or from mbuzi or whatever, but you need to be making sure that that variety is there. Like you need to have a very wide variety to choose from. You also need to work on your calcium levels during pregnancy and after. So sometimes that's when unakutanga women, they complain of back pain, ama they complain of knee pain. I've heard of women complaining of knee pain, and that is because calcium deposits are being taken out through your breast milk. You remember, like during pregnancy and during breastfeeding, the priority is usually the baby. So that breast milk inatokanga ikuwa very rich at the expense of your own health. So that's why you need to like give yourself that kind of backup. So you don't just stop on your pregnancy nutrition once you give birth. It continues all the way to 6 months, especially when you are doing exclusive breastfeeding. At least you need to be up on your nutrition, hydration, those key nutrients that like I've mentioned of iron, I've mentioned of calcium, also omegas. Omegas, you will need them for the developing baby in your womb and also afterwards. So there hakuna kupumzika in terms of nutrition, but it should make it fun, and just go for foods that are easily available in your locality. But the key thing is to make sure that you are taking a lot of variety, na see just one kind of food, and also having that support from supplementation, because sometimes you cannot match up everything from the diet. You would need support, because if you don't, sometimes unaonanga to the signs. You will see your hairline, receding kabisa kabisa. Your teeth, for some women, I've seen that they lose their teeth, or their teeth become brittle and weak, and also you lose fat vibaya sana. Like you have an even distribution of fat after giving birth. But when you support yourself very well, you can be able to make it better. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that is very clear, because you have emphasized that now we don't stop at childbirth, because majority of
No.
women just assume that saa nishazaa, it's enough. The only thing I need to do is take my soups. Of course, you need to take your soups so that you can have extra supply of the collagen, the calcium, the hydration, and all that. but you need to make sure that you're supporting your nutrition. And that is why I think as nutritionists, we need to come in and really advocate for how we can support mothers after childbirth, what is normally called the postpartum or the fourth trimester. So maybe I can highlight just kidogo what the fourth trimester means. And if you're in that phase, you need to make sure that whatever Grace has talked about, you actually emphasizing it. She has talked about making sure that your iron levels are good. She has emphasized on calcium. She has emphasized on protein. She has emphasized on diversity when it comes to your meal selection. She has emphasized on rest. She has also emphasized on hydration. As we talk about how to achieve all that, so please just make sure that you get those 5 things really, really, really well. And in the fourth trimester, we are not saying now the baby is in your tummy for another fourth, because most women will actually get scared of that. But this is basically the period between 0 to 6 or 0 to 3 months. 0 to 3 months after childbirth. And a lot happens. And hapa ndo unapatanga mtu anaanza kushikwa na self issues, self image, unaanza kujicompare, you get a lot of issues, because again, you see, even at this phase, in as much as we're also supporting you nutritionally, you also need to try as much as you can to do things that actually support you emotionally, mentally, and even psychologically, because at this phase kila mtu ana focus na mtoto. Even your friends, like when they come to see you, they're all about the baby. They're all about, is the baby breastfeeding, is the baby sleeping well, is the baby growing, is the baby pooping. Like, for instance, if I visit a friend as a dietitian, some of the things that I will actually focus on. But again, we need to also remember that this is a woman, this is a human being who's also undergoing all those phases. And if you have experienced motherhood, you can actually attest to the fact that shit is hard. Hiyo kitu ni ngumu, it comes with a lot of sleepless nights. It comes with a lot of change in the way your body is utilizing, metabolizing nutrients. As Grace has said, you might be experiencing a lot of weight loss. Others experience a lot of weight gain. There's a dip and surge of hormones, so you can be having crazy appetite that is actually causing you to gain a lot. So how do you handle all those? So this is basically what you're talking about. So maybe Grace, let's talk about how to, now the hormonal aspect, because that is where you specialize in. Now let's talk about how to try and control, because in as much as, yes, the body is physically adjusting it, there are things that you can do to help it, to avoid the hair loss, to avoid the brittle nails, to avoid the crazy cravings, to make sure that your diet, because sometimes the whole postpartum thing can be too overwhelming and it can actually cause women not to eat well. So can we talk about the hormonal changes that happen in the fourth trimester and how we can support women as nutritionists?
Yeah, so definitely there's a surge of hormones, like the hormones are not settled during breastfeeding. We come from oxytocin during giving birth, and then now you have a hormone known as prolactin that is high during breastfeeding, and that is what helps with milk flow. So you find most women they have a lot of changes. Of course, during the first 6 weeks, you will be bleeding, and that is expected. And that is because those are not like menstrual periods, but it is out from your womb, from your tissues inside your womb, because of that detachment of the placenta from your uterus. Definitely it causes now the blood to be coming, what is known as loci. I don't know if I've mentioned it well. Loci or loci, something of the sort. Like that blood after giving birth, there's a name that is known. So definitely hakuna ati major things that, like, there's no supplementation like for hormones and all that. Hormones is taken care of by the environment that you put yourself into. So that environment is, number one, nutrition. Then number two, stress or environmental, because those are the things that can really impact our hormonal environment or balance, hormonal balance, if I can say. So it works the same. You need to like be in a balance. So you're making sure that your stress levels are well managed. And I know it is very hard, especially when you have a crying baby on the side. Now, siku, the baby is also doesn't have a pattern and all that. But you should just take your time to learn how to manage these stress levels. As I have said before, if it is your mom, if it is your sister, your partner, you can just give them the baby, even them, they deserve to stay with the baby as you take some rest. So resting really helps with that balance of hormones during that time. So you are able to like have continuous supply of milk. Unlike when you have stress, you'll find that your milk is getting cut short, it is not as a lot as it's supposed to. You find that the baby is waking up quite after very small naps, which shows that maybe the baby is not well fed, mtoto hakushiba. So that's why they are keeping on waking up after a very short while. So it can be a sign that there's something wrong with your milk. Maybe it is not as dense as it's supposed to be, because milk is a good percentage of water, and then now the other nutrients and even the fat. But the baby should be able to take all of that, not just the water part or bit. So you need to take care of your environment, so your stress levels, and also you need to take care of your nutrition, and give you'd want to take a lot of nutrient dense food, that apart from just taking a lot of food. Unaona, most people, they focus on, they are given a lot, big chunks, volumes of food, unaekewa hapo maybe njahe with viazi, and probably there's no protein or a good source of protein in that food, because traditionally there are those foods. Even when you call your grandmother or your mother to come and prepare you food for after giving birth, you can find some of them are just calorie dense and not nutritional dense. It needs to be nutritious, it needs to be dense of nutrients, especially sana protein. I think that's where most people do not get enough of. And now there are the other minerals like the calcium, magnesium, things that you'd get from bone soup. And that's why bone soup is highly advocated for a woman that is breastfeeding, because when you boil that soup for some time, it is able to draw those minerals into that soup, and when you consume it, you are able to like replenish yourself. So, and also during that time, you are not taking any other family planning or any, like, you need to be free from that, and you will think about that. Maybe that's why it's usually introduced like after 6 weeks, but the first 6 weeks, they are like very intense about your nutrition, your environment, then other things that can be introduced later. Because also breastfeeding, as we have said, we know it is like a natural family planning method. So when you breastfeed with demand or not more than 3-hour gap, you are able to balance your hormones in that way. But when you don't, or when you like, some people have businesses, so wanaonanga like, I don't have to wait for the 3 months, I don't have to wait for the 6 weeks. But I would advise that the first 6 weeks that you just set it up just for your baby and yourself. Then you can do other things if you want past 6 weeks, just to make sure that your body is well balanced, your hormones are well balanced. And once your hormones are well balanced, you will know, because you will be able to have enough breast milk for your baby. You are able to sleep well. You don't have a lot of fatigue going on with you. Your bones are not aching. So those are some of the signs to show you that your hormones are in a balanced state. Yeah.
I like the fact that you have actually introduced the aspect of family planning and taking care and giving your body a little break, because
Yeah.
huku social media women, wanawake wanadanganyana sana, wanachochana negatively. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to really want to be with your husband, with your partner, or with your male person, But again, in the 6 weeks, you're trying to balance hormones. Umeshakimbia, umeshameza P2, your body's hormones ziko tu kila mahali huku, ndio tena umekimbia umeanza kuongeza another hormonal contraceptives. You're doing yourself more harm than good. Leave alone the physical healing that is yet to take place, because again, you see, you need to replace your nutrients, you need to replenish, you need to strengthen your body. Uja heal physically, you have not healed mentally, emotionally, and now you're adding onto the burden of hormonal surplus or hormonal distribution negatively. So I think we need to take that seriously, and maybe we can have a discussion on that, Grace. I don't know how we will frame it, but I think we can get someone and talk about it. Maybe you can also come in and share your aspects. You to like hormonal or family planning after childbirth, and how that affects nutrition, how that affects breastfeeding, how that affects healing, repair, and all that, and fertilities and such. So I think that will be a good topic to discuss. And I know for a fact, that breastfeeding is more nutrient intense than pregnancy, but unfortunately most women don't. Most women just assume, as you have said, that now ninanyonyesha, all I just need to eat like more bread, I need to eat more ugali, and that's it. I don't need macronutrients. Hiyo maneno ya kwenda kwa nutritionist kumwongelesha on how to make sure that my baby is growing well. I think Grace mentioned a very important aspect. She said that the priority of the body when you're breastfeeding or when you're pregnant is the baby. So the body will try and make sure that the milk that you're producing is as dense as it can be at your expense. So nutritionally, you're more at risk of deficiencies as a woman or as an individual during breastfeeding than when you're pregnant. That is a fact. Because the demands also go high, because apart from healing, apart from breastfeeding, apart from normalizing things, recovery and all that, you still need to make sure that you're taking care of yourself well. And I will say that your nutrient, you need to increase at least 400 to 500 kcals a day. I know you will still experience weight loss, and majority of women will still experience weight gain. Maybe we can talk about that before we talk about the nutrient demands of breastfeeding and what to do. Grace, why is there a correlation, or why is there a reason as to why women, we can discuss, this is a discussion, it's an open discussion, you can share your insight, I also share my insight, what I've actually experienced and what I've actually observed. Why is it that some women gain a lot of weight, others lose a lot of weight while breastfeeding?
Yeah, so I think sometimes it can be a mixture of both. You can find yourself like you're losing weight in some parts of the body, and other parts of the body, especially the tummy, you find that your tummy is bulging out, and that is completely normal. And also during breastfeeding, you feel a lot of hunger. I don't know, but I know, like, unakula food, but after like 3 hours or less, you feel like you really want to eat something. And that's why you find that people can reach to eating whatever is on the table. Sometimes unaweza kuwa so hungry, you are like, whatever is remaining in your kitchen, maybe it's that bread and tea or cocoa. So you find that you are taking in a lot of calories, a lot of sugar, a lot of empty calories, and that will contribute to weight gain, because when breastfeeding is very demanding, as we have emphasized. So when you are breastfeeding regularly and on demand, you will definitely feel hunger. And that's why we are saying that nutrition demands for breastfeeding are usually high. There's a need for extra calories, there's a need for extra nutrients, and most of the time you might find that you do not have a good selection of foods at your home. So sometimes you just reach to what is available in your pantry, So some people can just be eating things that are available, but they are not healthy. So that can be contributing to their weight gain. And it's very important now, when you are aware of that, when you're breastfeeding, have foods in place, like between you can have a plan, like during morning I will take a good healthy breakfast, maybe ngwashe or arrowroots. 2 eggs, avocado, and then my tea with cocoa, and that is enough. And then because you will not stay all the way up to lunch hour, in the middle, you need like to have something that you can take. Maybe you can have like mokimo with some soup, that you're saying, bone soup. And then lunch hour, you have a proper meal. Then in the afternoon, you also need to take something. You can either take another cup of bone soup, maybe with a sweet potato, and then now we go for dinner. And then sometimes even we eat even like late night snacks. So you need to make sure that all those timings that you have a good option, nutrient dense option at all times. Even you can take fruit salad instead of going and taking that juice or taking tea too much, because some of the time, sometimes you find that we are taking a lot of tea, na hiyo tea iko na majani, iko na sukari, and that can actually lead to your weight gain. Another thing is when you give birth, like after your body was bulging out during pregnancy, there's a condition that is known as diastasis recti, like your tummy muscles, like they drift apart. So unakuta the contents of the stomach, they like kind of try to push out the stomach. So you look like your stomach is bulging out because you don't have that muscle support. And that's why you need to do proper breathing. There are those breathing techniques that you're supposed to do after giving birth, just to make sure that you are pressing now your muscles together. So you cannot start doing things like sit-ups that will drift those muscles apart. So wrong exercises can also make your stomach look bulge out, and then maybe you are losing other parts like your thighs, your bum. So you look thinner on the below your waist, and above your waist you look bigger. So you are like unproportional. So those are some of the things that you can find women going through. Yeah. So losing weight, of course, it also happens because you're losing a lot of water, through breastfeeding. So you find that the water retention that was happening during pregnancy inaisha after giving birth. So unakuta you are becoming like you're losing a lot of water weight, so you end up losing weight. Also, nutrients are being diverted to the breast milk. So you find that even fats are being diverted to the breast milk. You find that you're losing a lot of fats stores. Wherever you store a lot of your fat, whether it's your bum, your thighs, you find that you will see some significant changes in that. I hope you've gotten the two scenarios. Yeah.
Yes, Grace, they very well explained. In fact, very well explained. I actually have nothing to add because you have expounded so well. And
Yeah.
hiyo culture yetu ya kukunywa uji thermos mbili, when you give birth, your mother comes in and the first thing they will ask you is, why don't you have big thermoses, so that they can put for you 2 big thermoses of uji to expand it.
Uji is a culprit for making women become big. You'd go for those vegetable broth, bone broth, things that are going to be less calories, but they are full of nutrients. But sasa uji iko na a lot of calories. Pia utaiweka hapo sukari. You will end up
Zingine
gaining a lot of weight.
waeke mpaka margarine.
You see,
But we can take 1 cup of uji because
you can take, but not a whole 2 thermos.
But 2 thermoses pia to control.
Yeah, and even tea. People take a lot of tea. Unakuta mtu anakunywa thermos yake peke yake. That sugar in that tea will definitely lead to weight gain.
People should adapt sugarless tea, Grace. You include
that? But I know most people hawajazoea, especially myself, but I always like take in the morning and maybe in the evening.
Yeah. And I think one thing that I was doing a lot, because you see me when I was breastfeeding, I was really trying, because I noticed the weight loss was really coming up rapidly. So I was really trying to not lose so much. But again, I did not want to gain so much. So what I will do, as you have said, I will do the 4 major meals, and then hapo katikati ya usiku I will do my broth na cocoa. My cocoa sorry.
You know, you
My
can add the cocoa to the broth,
yeah,
and it's something, yeah,
I
you can
tried.
mix
That
the
one
both.
was not working. I really tried,
Really?
but my
Mm,
taste buds could not handle it. So they were.
mm,
I was waking up. I remember the first maybe 3 months. I was waking up maybe 3 times a day, 3 times or 4 times a night, and each time I would wake up, I would take. I had a big mug, and I think we should also ask our mothers to get those big mugs where you can put just 1 cup to avoid going back for more. So I had a big mug. It was big black, so I would put my soup there, or I would start with cocoa. Then the next time I wake up, I do soup because I could not stand the taste zikimixiana. And then I do soup,
mm,
and then nakunywa. Then the other one I do water, or I do some seeds. If I'm hungry, then I can. By 6 a.m., I needed to eat because I was really hungry. If I go throughout the night without having anything for the 4 times that I've woken up, I had to eat at 6 because I would faint if I didn't. But I would eat, then I would have breakfast at, again, I would eat at 10, but I was also walking. As Grace has said, um,
yeah,
when the first during the fourth trimester, it's very easy for us to get comfortable with being
yeah,
seated at home. It's very easy. Any you might even not want that to happen, but it can happen because
mm,
the body and the environment and the conditioning is actually set so that the woman can just sit and rest, especially if you have a good support system. They can make it very comfortable for you, so that sometimes you forget that you need to move your body kidogo. And
yeah, we
remember,
need to
this
move.
is the time we are setting the hormones, we are trying to normalize things, we are trying to reset our body's set weight back to where it was. We are trying to activate and to maintain metabolism so that our body can support other activities and still maintain breastfeeding. So
Mhm.
walking gentle. I'm not saying that now you go start running. If you have strength, maybe after 2 months or 3 you can start running, but gentle movements are actually encouraged. And when you're doing
Very much.
that, let's remember that tumbo iliexpandiwa vibaya sana na mtoto when the baby was
Okay,
inside.
grow.
So as Grace has said, watch out for your muscles in the tummy. So usianze kukaa bulgy, and it's a common thing. Even like petite girls, people who are small, really really small before childbirth, after childbirth wanaanza, their physique and the way they are sculptured actually changes because of avoiding simple things like the ones that we have talked about. So remember, if you need consultation on matters nutrition and health, we are here. Grace is here. She will share her number. Mine, you will find it on the channel somewhere. And you can also check her out. She has a video on diastasis recti in her channel. Though she stopped posting, she should actually come back and tell us more on diastasis, how to actually exercise to make sure that you try and recover your body back. It's very
Mhm.
simple, very practical, and very doable. So you can check her out. And she also does. Grace, are you back to work? I think soon she will be back because
Yeah, so
you can tell us.
yes. So yes, I'm okay right now. It's already past 6 weeks and can do one-on-one consultation with clients, which are very welcome. It's always good to invest on information that is credible, and you get empowered that way. That's why we are here. That's why Lilian is here, to make sure that we support you in your journey, and to make sure that you do not have to go through so much stress while navigating pregnancy and postpartum. When you want to balance your hormones and all that, all issues that are related to nutrition and women, to make sure that we are supporting you in the right way. So I'm open, yeah, for consultation. We are open together with Lilian as well. It's good to know even the kind of exercises that you're supposed to do after postpartum, because you cannot just now get into the normal gym and you are working out like everybody else. It will be counterproductive when you do that. You would rather just walk in the meantime, that something that is very harmless. But going to do very extreme exercises can be counterproductive and even build a lot of stress for your body, and that will consequently affect your breast milk production. It will affect your baby. So yeah, you find me at Grace Micere, Maria Micere here at LinkedIn, and then my number. I don't know if I say or we'll write it on the caption. Yeah, so you are highly welcome for any question if you have, and I'm ready to help. Also on TikTok, I also speak on Nutrition Matters. That is at Micere, Maria Micere as well. You'll find me, and we can work on coming up with a plan, because I think when you have something that is easy to follow, it becomes so easy for you, and that's why we are here to simplify the whole process. Yeah.
Grace, type your name. Give me your number. I type it.
0707 304
304
639.
639.
Yes.
Sawa. That is okay. So make sure that you check Grace out.
Yes, yeah. Like it's not just up on postpartum peke yake. Even when you are introducing your baby to weaning, it's also a very important phase that people miss a lot of things and are misinformed. So once you talk to a professional, and especially someone that has experience as well, you are able to, make the process so easy for you, and you will not take on what everybody is saying that is not working. Yeah.
That is true. And I think we should also normalize prioritizing ourselves as women during breastfeeding in the fourth trimester. We have talked about how to do it. We have talked about the importance, the important nutrients to actually look into. And Grace has also mentioned the importance of supplementing to support your recovery, to make sure that nutrition is wholesome. And we've also talked about taking care of the exercise that you're actually doing. Maybe we can highlight some very few myths that I've actually come across. And one of the things, actually, I had a client. She was like, she replaced food with supplements, because she was like, if I can get that from supplements, I don't need to eat, because I think she was bulimic, or she had an eating disorder, in short. And denial ni mbaya sana, because I tried bringing that up to her, and she was like, no. I was like, you're pregnant, you cannot continue like this, you have to eat. Supplements are not supposed to replace your diet. So there's that myth that people believe that if I'm taking supplements, let's say if I'm taking protein supplements, then I don't have to have my proteins from the diet. Can we debunk that myth?
Yeah, it's a very wrong myth. Of course, like as the word suggests, it's a supplement. It is not a base. It is not a must that you take that supplement. What research has shown is that first work on the foundations to good health, the foundations to good nutrition, to hormone health. You need to first work on your base, that is nutrition, sunshine, stress, exercise, all those things. You need to get them first, and then now you can supplement. So you cannot do the other way around. Itakuramba. Those supplements, sometimes they are laced with a lot of additives and bulk things that fillers. So you find that you taking that bone broth, or taking that fish fillet, taking that meat, lean meat, it's more advantageous. It is more wholesome, especially if you know the way you have sourced it. It's more wholesome compared to taking a supplement in a can, like those protein shakes. They always have other things that have been added. Sometimes there's color added onto it. There's artificial flavors like vanilla, strawberry, because it will have to come with a flavor. There's a lot of bulky things like cornstarch, things that have been added to make it taste the way it tastes. So as much as it is important, you definitely need to work on your base, on your foundation first. Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope you guys have heard. Foundation ni muhimu tena sana, sio kidogo, and supplements should never replace your nutrition. They should support it, as the word supplement actually means. And then there's also another myth on your tea, tea and sugary drink. Like for most breastfeeding moms, if you go to any ANC, mama wengi wakienda ANC clinic, hata CNC, CWC, hata ANC, but they have seen it, you'll find them with either akona soda or either akona kitu tu iko na skari, so alternatives are hydration, alternatives are fluid intake. For most mothers inakuanga either sugary tea, sugary drinks, and they believe that is going to give them milk supply or increase their milk supply kwa sababu inawapea instant energy. Now, is that a fact? Is that something that we should normalize? Me, I don't believe it should, but I would like to hear your opinion.
Yeah, we shouldn't. We shouldn't, because that sugar is empty calories in the first place, and we are trying to make sure that we are getting nutrition in its wholesome, in its natural form as much as possible. So I know during breastfeeding, there's those energy dips. You feel like, Akiapa, I just need something, because as we have said, breastfeeding is very intense.
Yeah.
Unasikianga njaa haraka, but you should have planned yourself. You need to, you can take things like, you can make your own hydration drink, like with cucumbers, with some fruits that are low in sugar, like pineapple or strawberries. You can work out, or even just taking water with a little salt can also give you the right hydration. Bone broth is also hydration plus the minerals. So like you need to have different sources for your hydration, and if you cannot get it, you can just do water on its own, and it will work for you. And also make sure that when you have eaten vizuri in the morning, your breakfast, it had fat, it had protein, it had carbohydrates, and a complex carbohydrate in that aspect. It had your tea with cocoa. You are gonna stay full for some time. You will not fall for like, hey, say nahitaji soda and biscuit or soda and cake. When you have eaten very well in the morning, you will not fall for sweet treats heavy. But someone who just ate kidogo, ama who ate something that is just full of carbohydrates peke yake. Carbohydrates, after some time, definitely your sugar goes down, and now you're required to eat something to like spike it. So you need to work on the time that you are having your proper meals. Make sure that they are very well balanced, so that you can avoid those snacking of unhealthy stuff.
Yeah, and also let's remember that you remember when we said that during your 4th trimester with pregnancy, there's also the risk of overburdening your organs, the liver, the kidneys, and all that, the excretory organs. So when you overload on the unnecessary sugars, you're definitely adding to the load that has been added by pregnancy and now breastfeeding. So let's be cautious. I'm not saying that you don't have your soda, but if you can avoid it, why not? There are alternatives. And when you're taking fruits, again, people will say they have sugars. Yes, they have sugars, but they come with fiber, extra fiber that is great for your gut, that is great for your digestion, to avoid constipation. Another serious challenge that women actually undergo during pregnancy and breastfeeding. I think I need to write that down, because I think we can have that discussion as well. And if I don't write things, I actually forget. So, so fiber from fruits, and you also need to make sure that, again, the fruits come in with minerals, they come with antioxidants to reduce the inflammation that might be caused by the stress of a new baby, the pressures of motherhood, and all that. So let's try as much as we can to be as realistic as you can with our nutrition. And as we close, there's another myth, depending on the cultures, Kenya is very diverse. Kuna culture wanawake wanaambiwanga after kuzaa, you're not supposed to eat this, you're not supposed to eat eggs, you're not supposed to eat a lot of meat, you're not supposed, there are cultures that actually, I was talking to someone yesterday, and she told me that she was engaging with Indians, And this Indian lady told her that she cannot eat, and she was pregnant. She cannot eat like 4 meals a day because her culture does not allow her to be fat while pregnant, because she will stay fat after childbirth. So they are really limited to intake, and they are supposed to make sure that they deliver very small babies. That is basically underweight babies. And I think some of these myths and lack of understanding, they also persist in other cultures. Like, I know for some other cultures, people are told not to have eggs when they are pregnant to avoid having big babies. They're told not to have avocados. And even after childbirth, ukionekana ukikula salad, hizo umeongeza salad, umeweka mayai, avocado, and you've now gone in and still ate your carbohydrates and protein, or other sources of food, people will start thinking, oh my God, she's overeating. That is why she's gaining weight, or that is why she's doing this. And that stigma that comes with the weight changes after delivery can actually now make women to avoid certain foods. Maybe you can shed a small light on the importance of inclusivity and variety during the 4th trimester or breastfeeding, as we transition to breastfeeding.
Yeah, those cultures, they are not doing good justice to the women. But anyway, we live in a world where we have people from all over, and sometimes you can be misinformed. Like that aspect of you not eating, being told not to eat avocado, not to eat a lot of fat, not to eat a lot of eggs. I think it doesn't work kabisa kabisa, because as much as we have demonized fat, research has actually shown that fat is very important for our development and even for the development of the baby. We have fat surrounding our key organs, like the functioning of our key organs. We need fat for to cushion them for as shock absorbers. Fat is very important, ni ile excessive of it sasa, that's what becomes problematic to your heart health and all that. But we shouldn't have that fear of fat affecting our nutrition, because all these nutrients, they play a role. Even the brain requires good amount of fat. As much as we want to take other things, like fat I don't know why people demonize fat. Fat inakwanga mbaya when it comes from unhealthy sources. Like when you are buying uko chips zenye they have been dipped in oil that imekuwa ikipika the whole week, or how those women they do, they like reuse that oil over and over and over. So unakuta now you are taking a fat that has been over oxidized, so that one will have an effect. It will cause free radicals and all that. But if you are taking fat in their natural form, like avocado, surely, eggs, that is a mistake. You should actually, these are the foods that we should focus, the foods in their real form, and we are talking of also diversification. Even meat, when you're eating meat, it also has fat, it has protein, and that is the way it is supposed. Kitambo mtu alikuwa anasema I want the leanest part of the meat, but we have research has shown that meat, as long as you are getting, the source of that meat, like it was grass fed, it has not been fed on antibiotics or these things that they make them to grow very fast, then you can be sure that is a good source of the fat. So what I'm saying, understand where these fats have come from. Kama ni avocado, unaona imetoka direct from the avocado, like that has been farmed organically, or at least our avocados in the countries are not bad. Eggs, kama you are, of course, najua kuna hizi eggs za hizi layers na kuna hizi za kienyeji. If you can get the kienyeji ones, even it becomes even better. But that should not make you have that fear of taking eggs, that it will cause something. You need to be sure of the source, of the sourcing. If it is legit, then take as much variety as possible. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope that is very clear, because we need to come to an understanding of why it's important. So I hope you guys who are out there and still believe in the fact that, oh, I need to stop eating this and this, please always consult a dietitian, and let's do the right thing for ourselves and our babies, because our bodies and our babies depend on it. So Grace, I think we will end it there, and maybe
Yeah.
before we end, we can you can give us a parting shot for our mummies, or you can tell something to our mothers or to our girlies who are pregnant and really trying to prepare for childbirth in the best way, trying to prepare for recovery, for postpartum, and yeah.
Yeah, for me, I would just encourage our women that are pregnant or that have just given birth to take it easy and to plan yourself. You know, sometimes you are better off when you are well prepared, like other than someone who does not have a clue on what to happen, because now you will fall for any information, or you will just uh, do things out of negligence. So it is good to go every stage when you are well prepared, and that's why we are here. When you are well informed, and information is part of the preparedness. When we are pregnant, we are always told, like, have a birth plan, prepare for it. As well, you should also prepare for breastfeeding period, because you will understand what you need, how you need to plan your meals, how you need to plan your day, how you need to plan for yourself after childbirth. It's very important. So that is the simple advice that I would say. Let's get into these stages when we are well prepared, and let's get as much support as we can, and it's gonna be possible. Yeah, we're gonna have healthy babies. Yeah.
Great. And also let's remember that preparing for the fourth trimester or preparing for breastfeeding starts while you're pregnant. So let's take care of our nutrition during pregnancy, but also
Mm.
let's transition with the same mentality, the same ideology, that we need to make sure that we are taking care of our nutrition to support our baby and to make sure that breastfeeding is optimal. Remember that breastfeeding has tremendous health benefits. Maybe we can also have a discussion, because I've done videos on it, but I've never done a discussion on the benefits and how to support mothers who to do exclusive breastfeeding. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that would be a good topic for us as mothers, or for any woman or any girlie who's actually struggling with breastfeeding. So make sure that you stick around, follow me, and leave your questions, your comments, your concerns. Did you experience any postpartum dips when it comes to nutrition? What deficiency symptoms, or what some of the changes that happens to your body? Sometimes you have to tell us so that we can tell you if you're deficient, or if the body is struggling, or it's just normal and the face will come to pass. So what are some of the challenges that you actually experienced after childbirth when it comes to matters nutrition? Did you actually source, or did you get or receive any nutrition support during pregnancy, childbirth, or even after delivery? I know for a fact in Kenya, it is very low. Nutrition support is very low. You will go to facilities, they will have your vitals, they will have everything checked, they will give you medication. But when it comes to matters nutrition, most of them will just tell you to go eat your fruits and drink water. So if you received adequate care during pregnancy, childbirth, and breastfeeding, you need to let us know, and also highlight that facility, or even highlight that person, or even that dietitian that actually supported you through it all. And remember, if you need support, we are here for you as well. And if you did not, it is also good to highlight the facility so that we can know what is happening and what is not working. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to leave your comments, to leave your questions, to leave your concerns in the comment sections. And we meet next week. Hapa tena we have a discussion. I don't know, Grace, if you'll be available. I think we can continue this motherhood series, but we'll talk.
Yeah, we will plan for it. I think it's
Mhm.
important. We can see how to work around it, especially with my schedule with a newborn.
Yeah. And you see, I may cooperate. been 1 hour.
Yes, yes. That's why I tell women, like even when you are at home during that maternity leave, sometimes it is good to also get out and do something that you love. You don't just unajiekea uko tu na mtoto throughout. It's also good, like looking out for yourself. It's also doing things that makes you happy, getting outside and all that. It brings that balance a lot, and it reduces the stress. So like me being here, I feel like I'm doing what I love, and at the same time I can take care of the child.
The baby.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful face, but it's also a very dangerous face to kijiachilia. Mtu anaweza cheesy very fast. So please take
Yeah.
Grace's advice very seriously. And also remember, you're a human being. I know you're taking care of a baby, but you're also a human being and you need to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
So thank you, Grace, for that discussion. That was amazing. I think we'll end it here. We'll talk about it. We'll continue the conversation next week. Bye.
Bye.